We do installations daily at Ideal Conditions. They're home installations, business installations. When we put these units in, no jobs are going to be the same. There's some that are either on a roof, or the condenser could be on somebody's balcony. If it's a high-rise condominium, the condensers could be on the ground on the side of the house, or on the ground in the backyard that's gated. There's pets that we have to keep in mind. Those pets are something that you can't always just keep out of the work area. We love pets. We love cats. We love dogs. We're going to treat your house like it's our home. That's what we want. Some air handlers are in the attic. This one here that we're showcasing is actually in a closet, and not all closets are big like this one. A lot of the closets we have are very small. It's hard to get a camera and find the right work area, so we wanted to showcase this particular job. As you can see here, we're removing the equipment, and we pulled out the bottom section, which is the coil, and the top section, which is the blower, prior to removing the cabinet. Once we remove that, it's a lot lighter. It's a lot easier to maneuver that throughout the home. And every job's going to dictate from one to the next. The materials are going to either be more or less from one job, depending on if it needs new plenums, or if we can work with the existing plenums, depending on their dimensions and what type of stand it's sitting on. As we, take everything off the truck, we break everything down. We use the driveways as much as possible for a workspace, keeping in mind that that mess needs to be tidied up throughout the entire project. You'll notice that we're constantly cleaning and creating unique ways of throwing garbage away, utilizing the boxes that the equipment came in. It's very interesting because sometimes people don't realize that the air handler box and the condenser box will be filled with garbage by the time we're done. If we come through the home, cross that threshold, we're always wanting to earn your trust and keep your trust. Be mindful of our surroundings as we're working from the front door to where we need to, get the equipment at. Your house is important to us. We're going to treat it the same as we would treat our own home. Nobody wants to, create any kind of problems in the work environment. We want to, mitigate any issues by having as many people on a job as possible, keeping two people's hand on the equipment when necessary. We're installing a filter kit here. This filter kit is going to help purify the air, and they won't have to replace the filter monthly. They'll be able to replace it once a year. Some homes we do have to replace those filters every 6 months, but in this one, the filter kit is installed first. Then we install the air handler. As you can see, we've already got it prepped, and all we have to do is just connect the ductwork, put an ultraviolet light inside of it. The point that we're at now is bending copper and getting the fittings ready and putting everything together so everything lines up to where it can be brazed using torches. We use torches that have acetylene and oxygen as a combination to get the right temperature, and we use solder. And solder is an interesting practice in our industry. There is oxygen, of course, in our surrounding area, and we want to create a point to where as we braze, there is no oxidation going on the inside of that copper or on the outside of the copper. You can't help that. But as you can see here, as we're brazing, you can see that green flame that feathers out every now and then, and that green flame is when you have that right combination of heat. You'll see a little flash of green there. You feel responsible for our work area. We're always going to protect the floors. We're going to maintain a safe and clean workspace. We know that every house is going to be a little bit different. Family members can be there, and we have to make sure that we're constantly keeping our work area clean, so it's safe for the members of that household that are there. Pets, we're mindful of puppies, we're mindful of all types of animals. And we'll make sure the doors are closed, make sure that there's nothing that can be picked up and swallowed. Screws and whatnot. It's one job from the next job is always going to be a little bit different, so we're very mindful of our surroundings. The copper's already hooked up, and looks like we just need to finish the connection on the supplier plenum, get all that sealed up. That's an interesting technique because a lot of measurements have to be taken, getting the right angles and making sure that we're going to have a good volume of air going from one part of the equipment in the blower section through the ductwork. That transition, the more open that transition is, then the more reliability we're going to have on fan motors and whatnot with lower static pressures. Having enough static pressure to create enough velocity, but not enough static pressure to create a problem, is why we have to measure and calculate the size of these plenums. Tonnage, we talk about BTUs and tons. Within our industry, quite often, this is a 3.5 ton that's being put in, and so we have to have 1,400 CFMs of airflow at a 0.03 static pressure, and that's pretty much what we're measuring off of, is what that requirement is needed for this equipment to work as designed, as efficiently as it was designed to work. We take pride in our installations. Air handlers are probably the biggest part of the job as far as time consideration. It's also the biggest part of the job as far as responsibility that I was talking about earlier as we enter your home, and being mindful of those surroundings with children and pets, making sure the doors stay closed, the home stays clean, and the workspace, of course, stays clean and safe. As the air handler is being wrapped up, things are constantly sealed and ensuring that it is airtight. This is a process that does take a while. We use UL listed products unique to our industry. Mastic and spray adhesive, tape, and other types of fasteners. We primarily installed train equipment. The reason why we partnered with Train, they've been around for a very long time. Unique business traits that they have as a manufacturer. They're very in line with ourselves, how we conduct business, how we treat our employees, how we pride ourselves in being professionals and knowing our job. Train has employed people in their manufacturing plant. Some of them have worked there for as much as 60 years. I don't know what says more that they don't discriminate than having someone working for you for 60 years. They're definitely doing something right for people to want to be there that long, to give them their life, their one and only job. And they have several people that have worked there for 40, 50, 60 years, which is very common. We've been to their plant, we've met many of these people. Their research and development to ensure a good quality product for the consumer is there. Whether you're buying a SEER 2 14.2, 14.3 SEER unit, or you're buying a 22, 23 SEER unit, SEER 2, Train's going to make sure that you're happy for the long haul. A lot of the air conditioners that we remove that are Trains are over 15 years old. Your next Train system should last you more than 15 years as well. We pride ourselves in keeping things clean and operational to factory specifications. When we do this, we get that life expectancy out of our installations. It's not just on the manufacturer. They can do a great job of, creating equipment that works and is reliable, but it's all on the installation company to make sure that equipment is put in properly. Here we are installing a Train thermostat, wiring up the back plate. And then once that is installed, we put the thermostat on and we have to program it, giving you all your parameters programmed, so your comfort settings are there. Everybody has different comfort settings. This is an old Train unit. It still looks really good. Believe it or not, that unit was a 2005, so it's a pretty old unit, and that's 20 years and counting. So that's removed, and we're putting another Train unit there, and hopefully this homeowner can get another 20 years out of this one. The pads are raised utilizing leveling sand. The condensers are put on it, and sometimes adjustments have to be made to make sure everything's nice and level. The reason why we do this step is pads start to sink over time as erosion takes place naturally within nature, and it's good practice when you're putting your equipment in to make sure that your pad is above grade. And so we make sure that our pads are above grade as we set that equipment, and they have to be re-leveled. Again, the brazing process, very unique step. If you do it properly, you won't have any refrigerant leaks. Condensers are anchored, copper lines are sweated in. When a condenser is sitting level, the oil that sits inside the compressor is properly lubricating all the internal parts. The only reason why it needs to be leveled is to ensure this. There's several areas on the Duratough plastic bottom that allow water to drain out. Proper maintenances that are done ensure that the pads are clean, vegetation, those base pans are cleared out and cleaned so water can drain out, so there's no standing water, so components don't have that opportunity to rust. Here we are, we're pressurizing the system, we're getting it ready to be evacuated down to the proper micron level. And once that's done, we do a startup.